Sorry for people on YouTube. Yeah, I forgot to take the headphones out. I don't know. Yeah, I guess it. I don't know. Whatever. Hello, Shannon. How you doing? Hello, Mauricio. How you doing? So yeah, Cece, I was just saying I was doing the 600 jump squats yesterday, and it was really a challenge. But yeah, I'm okay. Thank you, Shannon. Just live on a couple of platforms at the moment. So yeah. But yeah, it was intense stuff. So really, it was just it's all good and all that. So thank you for thank you very much, Mauricio. A nice one. Thank you for that. All right. So yeah, just trying to like improve my general fitness because doing that stuff it helps not only improve strength, endurance, but also cardiovascular endurance, and it's a good like workout doing that sort of stuff where I just do a few reps and then a bit of a pause and then get back into it and keep like um I saw it quite a few views also. Oh yeah, you know what I mean? Like the video had quite a lot of views on it. Yeah, I noticed that like when I do like the fitness challenges, they tend to do better, at least on YouTube anyway. People seem to hang around a bit more for that, but they don't seem to really chat very much though. Oh, thank you, Mauricio. Oh, nice one. All right. Oh, cool. Yeah, we're getting some gifts over on TikTok at the moment, so yeah, we're gonna have to like cash them out again soon because they've been building up for a while. But um, yeah, over 300. Yeah, it got 300 odd. Yeah, compared to some of them only get like 100, 200, maybe something like that. But it was actually only just over an hour long, so for that length of a live, it was pretty decent. Yeah, um, but yeah, I'm not going to be training anything legs today because fuck that. You know, that's yeah, I'm probably gonna just do upper body today. If I'm gonna train, I'm gonna do upper body today. Like I might do some like kind of rolls, push-ups, things like that. Really, try and like let the lower body recover, and then yeah, thank you, Marcio, for the roses. So it's like do some upper body, let the lower body recover, and then yeah, um, oh yeah, thank you very much for your support. Um, yeah, I haven't had any more members on YouTube for a while. So just, yeah, hopefully not all of them are just going to drop off. So I've got like 5 members on there, but usually the members will just end up dropping off after a bit. But I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. I, yeah, how we doing today, everybody? Hope you're all well. I was hoping to like ring my mum up today, but I don't know what's going on with that. She seems to have been pretty quiet lately, and haven't been able to really get hold of her very much. So yeah, I'm just I don't know. She said ring over the weekend. She said Saturday, Sunday. So I was like, okay, well, I don't might be a bit early, but sometimes she'll just say like, oh yeah, ring me later or something. Hello, Lucy, how you doing? Welcome in. Hope you're well. So yeah, I thank you very much for your support, everybody. Anyway, hit the likes and stuff. Yeah. What are you up to today, Lucy? Anyway, you up to anything much today? Um, I don't really have much plan. I might say do some upper body stuff today. Hi, crazy girl. How you doing? Welcome in. Hope your day's going well. Um, but yeah, it's just yeah. Do sorry. Do weight training or calisthenics? Mainly calisthenic stuff. Cookie J. I do bits. Hello, Nature's Window. Long time no see. Thank you for the hot me. Yeah, I know you said you've been because I was wondering like what happened to you. So I was like, I thought I'd message you because like you do quiet stuff. But glad to see you back. Hello, life of Ali. I'm doing fine, thank you. How are you doing today? Let's have a drink. Yeah, I was just saying, Nature's when I was on YouTube yesterday doing 600 jump squats, and to be honest, I probably could have gone for a little while longer, but that was just the challenge for that. Thank you for checking in, Jamie. It's all right, it's just It's just because you was like there every day, and you were saying that you try and make it every day, and then you were just not there. So I was like, what's going on with that? I was wondering, like, you know, because sometimes I'll like, probably sometimes I'll like jump to conclusions and wonder like what's going on. Like, say, is it something to do with me, or I don't know. Thank you, Nature's on up, Miss Kaber. Hi, Haley. Good to see you. How are you doing today? Hope all is well. Paul, how are you doing? I'm all right, thank you, Ali. Yeah, just trying to juggle two different live streams. What are you up to today, Haley? To anything much? Better this morning. I had an argument with my dad yesterday afternoon. He holds a grudge with me all evening, and I was upset, so I just watched Mr. Bean to chill out. Oh yeah, I used to watch Mr. Bean when I was a kid. There's some like silly ones that Oh, you have to work. Oh really? Oh wow. Yeah. Surprise, surprise. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah. So I don't know. You didn't see any of that thing yesterday, did you, Haley? The 600 jump squats. Pretty intense stuff. I just broke it up into like 5 per set. So I did 120 sets for 5 reps. I have a lot of family for work commitments, so I'm not online a lot. All right, okay. Yeah, you were saying about that sometimes you'd miss it depending on the time and stuff. Thank you for the follow, Maria. Like you were saying that also that no, I missed that live. Oh, yeah, and it was only on YouTube. I didn't bother putting it onto TikTok as well because it's hard to try and do all that stuff and then try and juggle that as well. It would be a bit overwhelming. But yeah, by the good time, it was like it was a 12-mile run, a beer, a 3-mile. Oh goodness, a beer. I suppose but beer isn't exactly good for that stuff, is it? Couldn't that be bad for like your stomach if you're trying to like? Does that make you feel a bit sick or something? The last thing you want to do when you're running is feel sick. I don't know, but you got to do what you got to do, I guess. But anyway, we've got 10 people in the house. Thank you for sharing the live. Nature is Emma, isn't it? Yeah, I get here when I can. Depends what I'm doing. All right, fair enough. Yeah, it would be nice if some more people would show up like regularly, but it is what it is. Sometimes it's just people are just not really available. I don't know, or they just get bored of it. Because I know, like Yogi was saying about this, because he's had this steady growth of like subscribers and stuff, but it's like he's not really gained any. Like he's not gained an audience. Like a lot of people end up just leaving after a while. It seems you will get a few like hardcore viewers who stay, but most just come and go. Which it is what it is. That's what tends to happen with a lot of channels. I'm just about to drive, so we'll be in and out when I can. But thought I'd say, okay, no worries. Yeah, you take care. Yeah, hope you have a good day at work. People just want drama lives, I know. Yeah, I don't know. I've been trying to like figure things out, trying to do different things, but yeah, it's difficult, really, isn't it? So I've noticed whenever I get into any kind of drama, any like when I'm being negative or whatever, then I'm getting angry and whatever, then that's when people seem to want to watch more, unfortunately. Which is sad, really. It's like you do feel like it seems like whenever I'm talking about more wholesome kind of stuff, then people are just not interested. Yeah. Hello, Miss Marie. How you doing today? Thank you for the follow, Joke Ed Yummy. Hi, Emily. How you doing? You're all right? Did you not see the live I did yesterday? I did 600 jump squats. It was I didn't bother going live again last night. I just couldn't really be bothered, to be honest. Well, I was having some like food, and I was just kind of chatting to my mate, and I just like kind of was like, you know what? I don't know. It wasn't really in the mood to go live again. How are you? Because I had already went live in the morning, didn't I? And then I went live, did the workout live, and I was just Hi Anne, how you doing? Thank you very much, Nature. Is everyone all right then? What's everybody up to today then? Anyone got any plans? yeah, just like I say, I might do some upper body workout stuff today because I'm not going to do lower body today. Absolutely not. Yeah, there's a little bit of DOMS going on. Hopefully, it's not going to get any more, but usually it would. You would feel it by now, but I do feel like I shouldn't do legs today. Basically, I'll walk the dog and then get some food shopping. All right, yeah. I mean, I pretty much only did legs yesterday, so I was like, I just do upper body today, and yeah. Um, but yeah, food shopping, cool. Like what you, yeah, food shopping, exciting stuff, eh? Yeah, yeah. I'll probably just do it, get a bit of food later, but yeah, everything just feels kind of boring. I don't know. I want to do some like traveling. I want to do. I was saying the other day, I want to do like the urbex stuff. I want to go around some of these abandoned houses and stuff, and like, yeah. Hello, Shangelo. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the likes, Nature. There's like even like abandoned mansions and stuff like that. Oh, you've done that, have you? Thank you for the follow, Abigail. You'll love it. Yeah, yeah. I've even seen people like sleeping in them in some cases. Like there was one in Yorkshire that someone did it. Where were you from again? I can't remember where you said you were from, but yeah. Oh, thank you, Abigail. Nice one. Yeah. That would be interesting, but be careful. Oh yeah, Ireland. Yeah. Do you have a lot of that stuff around there then, like of abandoned places? Um, yeah, you got to be careful. But I was watching one where someone went around James Corden's abandoned mansion, but apparently it's going to get demolished. Oh, you have loads of that, right? But it's like there's like James Corden's abandoned mansion. Apparently, it's worth like £8 million or something. And it's like, the hell's going on with that? Why hasn't something been done with it? The fuck, you know? That apparently they're going to end up demolishing it. What a fucking waste, eh? You know, all that shit going to waste. It's just shameful, really, isn't it? You know. Well, the guy is fucking shameful himself, really, isn't he? If you seen him, it's a fucking joke. That guy. It's as bad as that Ellen DeGenerate, you know. They're all a bunch of just like these, yeah, narcissistic kind of psychos, basically. Yeah, exactly. You know, at least why didn't they just sell it or something? Like, what the fuck? Like, why couldn't he just have sold it? I don't know why he can't sell it or something, or what. Like, you can't stand celebrities. Yeah, they're all just a bunch of like, for the most part. There's very few that I could think of. Maybe there's like what Keanu Reeves. Maybe he's all right. There's like a few that are okay, but Jim Carrey. You know, there's a few that are like, you know, seem a bit more kind of, you know, like oh yeah, Ricky Gervais is but yeah, for the most part, yeah, they're just a bunch of like Nancy, thank you for that's just narcissists, or they're just out of touch with like people, you know. Thank you for the roles, Emily, especially when they've gotten there without any real hardship, and they think that, you know, they don't understand people's struggles and stuff like that, and they don't see anything wrong with what I've actually talked about. I want to start with my own manifesto. I want to create a manifesto, so I might actually be uploading that at some point and like on my channels and stuff, and like basically it would be like, you know, me sort of like documenting all the things that are wrong with the world and how they need to be fixed. And we'll try and get everyone behind it, and that's something I think it would be a good thing to do. Thank you, Emily. They love the sound of their own bullshit. Yeah. Um, yeah, but it's just like it's just the whole thing of trying to get everybody on board with it. So it has to be something that everyone or most people would agree with, because the problem is we can't have communism, for example, because well, it's just not practical. It has to be something practical and something that people are going to get behind, because you know. All right, okay, thank you, Mama Kanti. But it's like I'd like to do something like that and get it all out there and try and see if we can make some kind of actual change. But it will require everybody to share it out and try and um, it's like we could try and start some kind of alliance, some kind of um, group where we try and basically, and it might require revolution or something. It might require, something quite drastic, but it's what's got to be done's got to be done, kind of thing. Because currently, what we have right now is not working. So, thank you for the heart, me, Emily. It's just, oh yeah, thank you for the treasure box nature. It's just like what we have right now is not working. It's just not. Yeah, it's just like we're seeing, like, I mean, some people say it's late stage capitalism or whatever, but the simple fact is that it's the whole thing. It's the whole system is broken. Like, even as far as things like um, like the medical system and things like that, the whole establishment is all broken. It's all broken by design. That's the thing, is that people act as though it's just incompetence or whatever, and it's not. It's like it's like, for example, when it was 2020 and people were saying, "Oh, they were just being incompetent." These politicians, they knew what they were doing, and the thing is that they're trying to gaslight the public, but it's like we need a system that is run by the people for the people. I'm not saying we need communism, but it's like it needs to be done in a true democratic style, where, like, instead of this kind of thing where we have this top-down authority, is based on, like, the will of the people and all that. And yeah, everything's odd at the moment. It just all feels wrong, and like it's like there needs to be some, I don't know, like, I mean, the whole thing of, like, even just as far as, like, socializing and things like that, and all that feels off. But I don't know if I mean, I wouldn't. It's like I don't think we can necessarily do anything about that sort of stuff, really. Um. Well, I mean, I am stronger than most modern men. That's the thing, you know. I am. So yeah, that's the thing, is that people are just trying, like, you know, they see that and then they get triggered or whatever, and it's like, yeah, I don't. It's but a bunch of people unfollowed from that video, but whatever. People are like, oh, but you don't know how to fight. That's what they'll probably say. But it's like, well, does most men know how to fight? I don't think so. I don't think most modern men know how to fight. So I'd probably be, like, level to them in that way, but my strength would outpower them, basically. So you can laugh or whatever, but the truth is that, yeah. Well, that's the thing. If you have confidence, then it's like you're meant to feel like you're just being arrogant or whatever. Like, but some say, oh, there's a fine line. There's a fine line between arrogance and confidence. They say, like, um, yeah. I mean, like, defending yourself is important. Yeah. But most men, I don't think probably because they just haven't really been taught any of that. I think that's something that I would probably put into it, like that the education system should have things like martial arts training, perhaps, to, like, hi Litty, how have you been? Not seen you for a while. All right, Steve, just get rid of Steve. It's just the troll guy. It's just, hello Jojo, how you doing? You know, um, live in an upside down world. Women are more macho, and yeah, to be honest, that really puts me off when they start acting macho, acting like men. But I don't know, it's all inverted, isn't it? Like, yeah. It's like, it's even, I remember, like, when I was looking in, like, men's clothes shops, I was thinking, the men's clothes look more feminine than the women's clothes now. Some of the women's clothes look more macho, which is just ironic. Um, Thank you for the hot me. Let's see. Yeah, hello, Chloe. How you doing? You all right? Like the women's clothing looks more manly than the men's clothing now. Like you've got men wearing these pink skinny jeans and like I watched Barbie movie yesterday. So good, lol. When the women run everything. Well, I don't know. Oh yeah, hi, reluctant. How you doing? You all right? Respectfully, a guy who acts more feminine than me is an instant turn off. Yeah, it just would be like one of those icks, I guess you could call it. It's the same like with woman starts acting masculine, and I'm like, ugh. It's like I'd feel like I'm dating a guy or something. I'm like, nah, no, thank you. But yeah, it's all about kind of that. But yeah, but then again, it's like if you're a masculine woman, then you'd probably favor a more feminine man. I guess it depends on. Yeah, but it's just odd how everything's inverted now. And thank you for the hot meat, Claw. So yeah, everything's become upside down. We're in an upside down world where where the people who talk about like liberalism, but yet they're the opposite of liberal. They're very closed minded and only open to their own you know preconceived ideas and whatever. And I'll see you in a bit, Chloe. Um, yeah, it's like men are just becoming like these, soft kind of, I mean, and then women are becoming these sort of trying to be this sort of goal getter kind of. I mean, if you want to be like that, okay, I'm not stopping you. I'm just saying that a lot of women end up going down that whole kind of hustle culture and whatever, and trying to work their way up through the corporate ladder or whatever, but they end up burning themselves out. They end up feeling like they've, sold their soul basically. They get to an age where they're like, oh shit, I might be too old to have kids now. There's all these things that can potentially go wrong, and it's just they don't think about these things when they're young. I've worked with masculine women. Not only are they bullies, um, but they back the f down when confronted. That's for sure. So, like, explain to me what you mean, like with like confronted, like about what, like what's, yeah, like. Thank you, Litty. Oh, nice one. Yeah, just yeah, they're trying to like be like these. It's like the thing is right. It's like they hate men so much, but yet they're trying to become what they hate. It's really odd how that happens. Like these woke feminist types where they're literally embodying all things toxic about men or something. It's like it's just ridiculous. Thank you for the finger hearts, nature. It's like, oh well, we're going to like, you know, we're going to become the most obnoxious version of a man. What are you trying to? What point are you trying to prove there? They try to dominate, and I don't tolerate that crap. Yeah, yeah. It's like, I mean, yeah, it's one thing to be like a leader and to take charge of things, but then you can't just be like bossing people around and telling people what to do, because then that's being kind of pushy and whatever. And yeah, um anyway, I hope it all is well. Welcome to my live, everybody. Yeah, I won't be walked over now, definitely not. Yeah, so it's just these like feminists, and they'll just try and be, oh, we're equal to men and all that, and we're going to just become like the men that we hate and all this sort of stuff. So basically, that if they say that they hate men, then aren't they just saying that they hate themselves? Basically, I seem a bit litty. Yeah, we need to restore balance again. I think, like I said, men like we're supposed to be just like tend to be more leaders, and then I'm not saying that women should just be like told what to do or anything. I don't think that is right. Thank you for the follow, Winnie. But I think with a you know when a man is just like genuine and he's like he knows what he's doing, that she would like trust in his leadership and like and follow that. But it's just unfortunately things have gotten so backwards, and yeah, but like oftentimes when they try to become like the other side, then they end up becoming a more toxic version of it. What we were saying. Thank you for the follow, Jojo. Hello, John. How you doing? Welcome in. How are you today? Become this sort of they embody the worst traits of it. It's like when a man tries to become a woman, he becomes like too weak and too, you know, too submissive and just won't like have any kind of backbone or anything. Yeah, as you know, I wait life, but I'm not. I'm careful not to become. Oh yeah, left brain white. Yeah, I remember we talked about that. Of like I was saying about for women, it's like training lower body will not make you look masculine, especially glute training and leg training and stuff like that. Um, but training too much upper body can sort of give you a more masculine frame. And if you're just trying to look more feminine and that, then not going too hard with upper body is probably a good idea. Thank you for the follow, Diana Wafula. Whereas for men, it's like I think like upper body training is going to give you the most sort of masculine look, but also I think that you should train lower body just to look proportional as a man. I wouldn't want to have chicken legs, just to look proportional, and yeah, because otherwise you'd have this kind of you see some guys and it's like they have these wide shoulders and big chest and big arms and whatever, big back, but then from the waist down, whatever, that it's like they just have like drain pipes, basically. That's not a good look either, is it? So most men don't lead with emotion, right? Okay, what you mean, like, isn't that supposed to be a good thing though? If you're, I mean, too much. I guess it depends. Too much emotion, I think, is when you are leading with too much emotion, then that can sort of be um toxic as well, I think. So I guess there has to be, again, it has to be balanced, like we were saying in the chat, needs to be a balance between because there's this whole thing of like people talk about stoicism and not showing emotion, which I think to a certain point there is some truth to that, and like sort of not showing emotion when it's not necessary kind of thing. But also at the same time, we also need to show emotions when things are really getting to us and things are. So I think we have to learn to find that balance between those things. Really, yeah, you have to be logical because the thing is, when you're acting out of like emotions and stuff, then you know we have to learn to try and not to saying suppress your natural emotions, but some people will sort of like express too much, and it just ends up like so I think some men have become quite sort of so I think it's like you've got this thing of men being told to open up about their feelings, but the problem is some men might then take that too far and then just become this kind of crybaby, which I think is just as bad as being like not showing emotion. Because when you just become this crybaby and it just makes you look like you're looking for sympathy and what have you. You know, you're looking for thank you, nature. So we have to sort of be balanced between those things. It's just a lot of people. It's like see people on social media or whatever, and then they're talking about they're talking about not showing emotion, or you should show your feelings. I think there's a middle ground. Yeah, not be petty and gossipy. Yeah, you don't need to be like, let's say something minor happens. You don't need to be like, "Uh, I'm just, I'm just, I've got a splinter in my finger." If you're being like that, then you're just a crybaby, and you maybe need to grow the fuck up. But at the same time, if something's really getting to you and you need to talk to somebody, then and you need to show them that how you feel and all that, there's nothing wrong with that. So I think that's the thing with like men is that they don't always get the right balance, and then they're either showing too much emotions or they're not showing enough. So, but yeah, we do live in the offended generation. Yeah, that's the problem is that everyone's gets butt hurt over the slightest thing. People complaining over a fucking joke. Like literally, it's just shit because it's like you have shows like Little Britain, for example, getting took off air because of hello Ballsy because of like someone just like like painting themselves a different color, shall we say? You know what I mean? Like it's like just taking the dog out. Okay, no worries. I don't take my emotions to work, right? But the thing is that I also don't think that people should just be putting on a fake smile as well, because that isn't genuine. I think I generally get on better with men because they're more straightforward slash easier to understand. Yeah, I think generally with women they can be a bit more. It could be like with their cycles, and you know what I mean. Like it can sort of influence that in some cases, but I'm not saying every woman's like that. But if we're talking about a general trend, what men have their own problems as well, and sometimes they can be quite dismissive and that as well. So hi Esther, hope you're well. Um yeah, like they don't want to sometimes they don't want to humble themselves because they feel like being humble is like means that they're not a man or something. But being humble is actually about kind of takes a level of takes a lot of humility and acceptance of like who you are, and that I would say is like I guess you could say that's quite a masculine thing in a sense when you look at it that way of like um about sort of acknowledging your imperfections and taking the responsibility to work on them instead of just trying to kind of bury your head in the sand and pretend everything's okay. That is not very masculine, is it? Yeah, well, sometimes you have to fake small because luck can suck. But I just feel like it's just disingenuous, and I don't know. Behind every fake smile, there's there's like a existential dread. uh, yeah. So, but I don't know. Like this is the thing. This is why I want to do this manifesto thing because this whole system just beats people down. I was actually watching a video on it, and one of the worst examples is Tokyo, and the they have to go on. Most of them go on trains to commute because they don't get paid enough in Tokyo, so they have to commute from outside Tokyo in most cases because Tokyo is so expensive. They don't get paid enough to live there, so they have to commute from outside. That can take them an hour to get into it. they have to go on these crowded trains. It's like it's even worse than London Underground. It's manic. Um, so like it's horrible. But that's just the life for them. They just you don't seem the type who would fake emotions or being happy though. Yeah, no. It's just probably because because I'm like that. I don't like people are like, oh, why are you not smiling? They think something's wrong. They think that if you're not smiling, then you're depressed. But it's because everyone fake smiles, so they think that there's something wrong with you if you're not smiling. But I think there's something wrong with them for smiling. I don't know. Because they're just like being fake and I'm being real. Did you see the pictures from a few years ago of Tokyo businessmen sleeping, standing up? No, but I wouldn't be surprised. Um, I mean, have to. Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I know, but I don't know. It's just yeah, it's just shit, really, isn't it? Thank you for the follow, your Majesty. But it's like I think people need to start telling them to fuck off, like, and we're not gonna just, fake who we are and trying to just like, it's like we need to just try and just not accept this stuff. Yeah, people have just become kind of just collectively just accepting things the way that they are. So instead of being like, why are we putting up with this? I do what? Sorry. Because people love to complain about things, right? As soon as they're, they finish, then it's like, thank you for follow, Lucy. You're a very non-people pleaser, haha, in the nicest way. Oh yeah, yeah. People don't like that because obviously, if you're not gonna be a people pleaser, then you're going to, you know, piss off some people or whatever, or people are just gonna get fed up of you or whatever. But I'm not gonna pander. I don't like that. And the thing is, the more that people try to push me to do something, the more that I don't want to do it. Yeah, apathy is a good way to put it. When you just, yeah, Lucy, how you doing? Is it Lucy or Lucci or how do I pronounce it? There's this like existential dread of just like, what am I doing here kind of thing. I'm just here in this place that is not serving me other than just my bare essentials, and it's like they're spending, a massive chunk of their waking hours, like the INFJ, because um, it's like, when you think about it, like most people are working at least probably 40 hours a week or so, something like that. And it's like, so actually, I think the standard is 37.5, but that's when you minus the lunch breaks or whatever, because you usually get like half an hour or something. But let's say 37, well, let's say, 9 to 5, and then they've got, oftentimes they might have like a 2 hour commute every day in some cases. So if you've got a 2 hour commute, to and from work, then that's 10 hours took out of the day already. Then you might have other things to do, for example, like chores. You might have to like, there's so many things. So what ends up happening is oftentimes people are just going to make themselves like a simple meal, or they're going to go out for a meal, or might have to go to a takeaway and spend a fortune on that. Oftentimes they have to drive to work, which is going to cost them a fortune. So put it this way, right? So people are, what is it? People are, um, they have to buy a car to go to work to pay for the car, and they're paying, so they're going to work to rent a house that stays vacant all day. Do you see where I'm going with this? you know? Yeah, never bend a knee, exactly. Yeah, those are just kind of weak kind of people, really. That's it, INFJ. It's like so people are like, they'll go, sometimes they'll even in some cases, they'll go buy coffee for like 8 quid somewhere. Some people will, go buy coffee for like 8 fucking quid, and like then they'll probably buy it. Sometimes, of course, you can, make your own meals or whatever, but it's like oftentimes people do this. They'll go to fucking Starbucks or Costa Coffee, spend nearly 10 quid in there, probably on like a coffee and maybe some like sandwich or something. I don't know. So that's already £10 blown out of their daily, like pounds or whatever. I don't know, but maybe it's a bit more than what some people pay. But like, I guess it depends really. But get people in Greg spending like £15 every day. It's insane, isn't it? It's like you don't really need to be spending that much, but just with a bit of preparation, you could just like avoid all that. Just make your own, just get your own coffee grinder or something, and only work part time, or even just instant coffee or whatever. You can make it a lot cheaper than you would get in these shops. Yeah, yeah, part time. It's like it depends on your needs and stuff, but some people can get away with working part time. Of course, some people have commitments where they have to work. Like if they've got family and stuff like that, then they can't just afford to not work. But for a lot of people, it's like they're working just to pay for a car and pay for some meals out or whatever. But when you sort of yeah, I'm older with no kids in my own house. Yeah, if you can have your own house, is that do you actually own it like outright then and without a mortgage or something? Like, because obviously, like some people are trapped into mortgages for decades. You know, like um, trapped into like debts. That's what they do, and then people buy in fucking designer brands and things like that. They're buying a car that's they don't actually need, but they're trying to keep up with the Joneses or whatever. Evelyn, thank you for the likes. They're trying to keep up with the Joneses and all that, and yeah, I can appreciate it's so hard now for young people to get by. Yeah, because it doesn't seem like they have the same prospects because house prices have gotten way too expensive. So you've got all these fucking boomers who are like hoarding up the houses, and they're going to cost a lot more to buy them at unit. So all these fucking entitled fucking boomers, they're the ones that are fucking entitled because they think that they can just you know keep keep hiking the prices up on property and expect that these people can afford them, and that they have to like it's just it's projection. A lot of them are actually narcissists. They're actually projecting their own. Yeah, they think that they're spoiled, but actually they were actually spoiled with a booming economy. You know. Thank you for following Chandrian. Because back when they were like growing up in the like 70s or whatever and 60s. I mean, well, yeah, it'd be like 70s when we growing up, and they were like that was after we had the so after the war we had like a recession, but then after that there was like this boom in the economy, and they were growing up just in a time where like things were going really good and house prices were really low actually. In fact, even in the 80s, the house prices were still quite low. Like, I mean, I heard the average house in the UK in the 80s were about 40 grand, something like that. And in fact, my grandparents, they bought their first, I think not their first house, it was The second house, but yeah, thank you for the follow up, Millennia. But they bought a house in 1980 for like 11 grand. But then when it got sold in 2020 or 2021, some time around then, so like 40 years after that, then it was now worth like 90 grand. So thank you for the follow up, Eunice. So it's like gone up by 8 times. My first house was 35K in the mid 90s. Yeah, my dad's was about, I think it was 28, 30K in like 99 or something. That because he bought his bought second house in 99 for like 30 grand, and then it got sold in 2016, I think, something like that, for about 73 grand. It was actually worth about 80 grand, but he was struggling to sell it. But the point is that the prices have gone up exponentially, and then like, oh, thank you, Moku. My current house is 105K in the mid 90s, worth about 300K, so almost a 3x increase in price. So yeah, so the point is that like, yeah, it was so much easier then, because you might say, oh, but like, minimum wages have gone up and whatever, but it's like, but the average salary has just not really gone up that much, has it? Like, it's a lot harder for people to progress and try and get a decent salary anymore. Whereas back then it was like people could work their way up and get a good salary, and yeah, but it's just people have been stuck at the bottom now. The middle class has pretty much died. It's just basically the poor and the rich now. Very little middle class anymore. So whereas back then it's like a lot of boomers were in that middle class category, and they were able to actually work their way up. I'm not saying all boomers are like a lot of boomers were struggling as well, but I'm not saying it was all perfect. There was a lot of bad conditions, a lot of bad working conditions, and all that stuff. But yeah, but it wasn't exactly. I saw something for minimum wage to match the increase in Freddo prices should be £17.50. Yeah, exactly. A lot of like these like chocolate bars and things they've skyrocketed. I remember like I saw like a packet of Walkers at Chris, I think it was, in Tesco Express for like £1.20, 45 gram bag. So it's not even that big. It was like, that's Tesco Express. It is a bit more expensive in there, but it's still probably like a quid in just like in just like the main shop. But just like say convenience stores that costing over £1 for a fucking bag of Walker's Chris. Are you kidding me? That is ridiculous. Like, it shouldn't be anywhere near that. Like, they're probably not even worth fucking 20p, you know? It's just a bunch of like fried, a small like, slithers of fried potatoes. That's all it is. It's probably worth about 20 pence. Aldi crisps are cheap, but they have hard bits in sometimes. Yeah, that's the thing. They're not always good quality. Thank you for the follow there. So it's like people can say, oh yeah, you can shop at Lidl, but then it depends on what it is. Some things are just kind of thank you for the follow, Elmer. Oh yeah, tooth breakers. Oh yeah. I remember the sweets called jawbreakers, the chewing gum things, but bet the farmers get barely any of that money too. Yeah, no, that's the thing. Unless it's fair trade, but then they bump the price up, you know. They should be getting paid a good price regardless, but especially when you got like, I mean, well, I think it's the like British farmers get paid a decent wage, but I think it's a lot of these like that come from third world countries where they're not getting paid well, are they? And it's just, yeah, it's all a load of BS, isn't it? The people who are doing the hardest work getting the least, you know. And then, but then you'll get the capitalist kind of argument that, oh, but do they own the business though? Oh, they're just working for somebody else. They shouldn't get paid so much. It's like, uh, I mean, I kind of had this thought for a while of like, well, if you're not, but then it's like there is certain cases where they're just getting, they're just taking the piss and they're not paying them nowhere near enough money, barely even enough to survive, if that. So yeah, people will just kind of like do the least that they can, and people are expected to just take that. So, like I said, I'm going to try and do some manifesto, write up like what I want to see, and yeah. Um, all right, hang on. Hello, dealer. So, what one of the thoughts of putting into it is economy only okay now for selfish, greedy people. Exactly. So, one of the things would be subsidizing smaller businesses, and basically it would help them to like make it more affordable and make more profits and stuff. So that way they can compete more is the idea. Thank you for the follows, everybody. So because I want to see like more fairness in the economics and stuff, because what we have right now just isn't right. It's like it's this whole dog eat dog world that we have, and it's just it's gotten to this point where unless you're born into wealth, then you don't stand much of a chance. So how is that fair? People say that we have equal opportunities, but it's bullshit. How does somebody have an equal opportunity if they're not born into wealth? You know, you get these nepo babies who are like they've never lifted a finger, and that you know, there's no such thing as so. So I was thinking, well, instead of trying to complain about it, why don't I, make up a manifesto and right, Abby, how you doing? Hope you're well. So, like I said, make up a manifesto, but I want to try and get it out to as many people as possible. So it might require a lot of advertising, perhaps. I don't know. Thank you for the follow. I love Jesus Christ. I'm just thinking of like how I'm going to get it out to as many people as possible to get all my thoughts out. And yeah, we've gone more and more unmeritocratic. Yeah, exactly. Hi Mergy, how you doing? Hello Becky, how you doing? I mean, there obviously has to be like some kind of safety net though, but thank you for the follow, Davis. Money buys privilege and opportunities now. Yeah, because someone could just be like, say, have like like because they've got rich parents, they can just bail them out or something. They can bail out their student debts or something. But then we've also got governments bailing out bankers and stuff because of how much power they have, and it's just not right, is it? Like that, it seems like the more power you have, then the more it gives you all this leverage to just like subvert other people and yeah, to dominate. And that isn't a free market whatsoever, because a true free market requires there to be more of a level playing field where everybody should be starting off with an equal sort of yeah, money can't buy class, personality, integrity, heart, talent, etc. Yeah, exactly. It's just unfortunate because those that don't have the money are going to struggle to be able to make those talents into something profitable, something that they can actually yeah, live off. That's the problem. So in this manifesto, it would be about focusing on people's talents and trying to like be more creative and stuff like that, because there's not a lot of creativity anymore, is there? Money helps you exploit talents. Yeah, for example, if you're a musician, then it's going to help you to be able to get your music produced and things like that. Otherwise, you're going to struggle and you won't have the best equipment, you won't have the best facilities for it, like like sound, like soundproof booths and stuff like that to make your music so it's good quality and things like that. Really, it's like everything's yeah. Hi Lucy, how you doing? Yeah, but money buys free time. Yeah, exactly. um yeah, hi Hope, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. So this is the thing, but my angle of doing it would be about solving things such as food insecurity and things like allowing people to live in whatever kind of house that they want to live in, whether that's a tiny home or something, because I think that people should be allowed to do that. And some might say, well, there's ways that you can do that now, but it's kind of hard to do. Like oftentimes it requires planning permissions and bullshit like that. But like, I think we should be allowed to be able to live on our own land. But they've made it with all this red tape and stuff. Top 50 families in the UK have as much wealth as 35 million people. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me really. It's I don't know about 35 million people, but how many people is like 50 families? I guess that's like a few hundred people, I guess. I'd have to look into that to see if that's actually true, but how much wealth is there in those people? I'd have to kind of yeah. But I get your point that like it's very top heavy and so yeah, like and the thing is if you've got to that level, they oftentimes don't need to do much to maintain that wealth. All they have to do is just invest more money that they already have. Like why would they waste their time on doing all the hard work when they can just invest and just keep speculating and make more and more money? For 1,000, yeah. Yeah, it's like, what do you mean, a few thousand, maybe something? I guess it depends how big the families are, but the point is that, yeah, there's just all the wealth concentrated in very few people. I mean, Mrs. Libin Vassi, thank you for the likes. So people say we need reform, but I think it's more than that, actually. Hello, we plus positive with Austin. How you doing, Austin? Hope you well. Welcome in. That it's more than reform that we need. It's a complete revolution, I think, that we need because I come to realize that there is so many problems with this system that it's the system itself that's broken and it's not going to be fixed just by some reform of just because to me reform just sounds like that we're just going to still have the same system. Reform or right-wing grifters. Well, I'm not really talking about the political party themselves. I'm talking hello William, how you doing? You all right? Hello Lenny, thank you for the likes. I'm talking about like kind of like revolution. Yeah, I know. Like it's something that beyond just reforming the system. Why have you hang on? South Africa, just getting rid of this account because they're clearly a troll. I don't know why they would name their account that, but anyway, let's just repeating what you just said. But anyway, thank you for the follow mode model. Hi, Icha, how you doing? Welcome in here. But yeah, what we're supposed to do, eh? What's gonna yeah, I'm doing good. That's good to hear then. Yeah, I think like I said, self-interest means the system cannot solve our problems. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, so what would your solution be then, like Kieran, or is there not one? How's the mouth hop going? It's okay. I'm not doing it right now because I have my phone plugged in at the moment, so yeah, I'd have to put the phone down and then it would just be a bit awkward, but it's going all right. So, but yeah, basically, what's PR? You mean public relations? Is that what you mean? PR? Do you mean as in like? So somebody needs to, like I said, like I said, the whole manifesto thing, or proportional representation, right? Yeah, well, this is the thing of like, somebody who represents the will of the people and someone who's like actually interested in basically like helping those who actually are like in the majority rather than these at the top who just exploit those who are at the bottom. The top 1% exploiting the bottom 99%. But the problem is you get some people in the middle who are kind of, the problem is that a lot of people have just been kind of gaslit and whatever into thinking that we need to have rich people getting richer because of this so-called trickle down effect, right? Just like, so people say, oh, well, we shouldn't be taxing the rich more because of this so-called trickle down effect. Well, it's fucking bullshit. It doesn't work. If it did work, then we would have something better than what we have now, wouldn't we? Instead, what happens is they end up taking money away from smaller businesses in a lot of cases because they're actually, yeah, exactly. It's the poor that generate the wealth, but actually the rich are what they're doing is they are actually parasites, and they're just oftentimes just stealing wealth from people, and they're not actually, there's no trickle down really. Most of the trickle down is just down to the people who are already wealthy. So yeah, it's just all the bullshit. They say, oh, but they provide jobs. It's like, okay, but they're probably taking away jobs from somewhere else, Like I just think that it's been a bunch of like gaslighting that the like right wing people, but I think there's gaslighting on both sides as well. Like the left wing talk about, oh, but it's like, oh, it's because of this and that, but they're missing the point as well in a lot of cases. Like they think it's all because of capitalism, basically. They don't understand the nuance of it and how it's actually governments that are creating monopolies in a lot of cases, and how, basically, that they manipulate an economy to benefit the corporations. So I think the thing is that, yeah, like I actually think that we should be probably trying to encourage more of like bartering and stuff like that. Would probably be not saying a complete barter system, but more of a hybrid system of people using that to get like their essentials and stuff, trading things like fruit and stuff like that. Like, for example, if someone, or vegetables, someone grows apples and then someone grows some other thing, and then we should be trying to trade things with each other. But I think beyond that, I think there needs to be more. I haven't really watched, but like I've watched like I've watched different videos on different takes on politics and stuff like that. Like I was looking into this thing called what was it called? Geo-libertarianism and Georgism, where it talks about what is it? It talks about sort of what's it called? Land ownership tax. All right. So the idea is that that people will be taxed on land ownership, and that would be the only tax that people would be paying. And yeah, there's a lot of good content online. I've looked into sort of like different theories and try to get some understanding of it. Even some more kind of obscure theories and stuff like that. Try to understand things like, even just looking at things like Wikipedia and stuff like that, and trying to understand different positions on it, so then you don't come across like you're ignorant. But the problem with communism is this van life is the problem with that would be that the whole thing of no private ownership, and how's that going to work? So it's like people have these utopian ideas, but then it's like it doesn't. Things don't work like that in reality. So, but also we can't just have everyone all out for themselves, though, because look where that's got us. This whole kind of like there needs to be a balance. Like we need to try and still be able to like incentivize people to try and sort of progress, and like otherwise we're going to end up stagnating basically. So if we end up just becoming completely like not interested in pursuing wealth at all, then you could say that that would then be the end of progression, and some might say that's a good thing. But what you guys think about it, really? But it's just that, like I said, that this whole thing of wealthy people generating the economy, whatever, but really they're just generating a bunch of these industry workers and whatever, like these like corporate slaves, essentially, people working in warehouses and stuff like that. They'll be working in Amazon warehouses and what have you, just you know just get a bunch of like manual labor and shit. I mean, I think that manual labor is good and gets you fit, I suppose, but it's just the thing of people oftentimes being trapped like disposable and like they're not worth anything. That is the problem, really. Hi, me being random. How you doing? Hope you're well today. So yeah, who's still in here then? Hope everyone's well. But yeah, you're good. That's good to hear then. Yeah. Don't seem like there's many over on YouTube at the moment, so oh well. I'm okay, thank you. You have a good balanced take on things. Yeah, that's what I try to do and try to see both sides of an argument. Like, for example, it's like when it comes down to things like the trans and whatever, it's like, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's like people get too kind of like, I think the problem is that people get too kind of caught up with these sort of things and like, but the thing is that this isn't stuff that's really affecting the majority of people. So it's like I don't really have any reason to try and get too invested with these sort of things. So I try to just be like, the whole thing of like live and like live kind of thing, and just as long as you're not like hurting anybody or whatever, then it's like if you want to identify that way, that's up to you. But I also think that people should be also able to disagree with that, because if you're about freedom of speech and freedom of expression, then you also have to extend that to others that disagree with you. So that is where I stand on that, really. Beyond that, I just don't really want to kind of, give any energy. Because it just causes division. It causes, but then you've got, say, like with the economics, I'm like, okay, well, these extremes aren't going to work because things have been tried before. communism, I mean, you could say, well, it's never really been truly properly tried, but explain to me how it's even gonna, how are we gonna, I mean, you could say like, well, it's like, the problem is that you've got corporations that have already got so much power. You can't just take that away from them. It's not going to work because there's certain, you could say it's because of rights and stuff like that. They own that company or whatever. We can't stop that. We can't just be like, oh, even if somebody new came in, it's like there's going to be a massive fucking, pushback against that because they've owned these things for so long. And yeah, we can disagree with that and think that they're greedy and whatever. But the fact is that they've legally, that they've gone through a legal process to get to that point. So you can't just take that away. So how is communism going to address that then? If someone is going to, you know, to basically say that there's not going to be any ownership anymore. Thank you for the likes message. You would have to do it by force. And how is that going to work? And some might argue that that's unethical. Now, there's different takes on that, but are you going to be able to get enough people to then basically force them basically out of ownership? I don't know how it would actually work, but we have to try and kind of just. I think what it is about more. It's hard for me to really explain on this live because I have to try and collect my thoughts and stuff. But a more balanced take on things, really, of what we want to create is to give people opportunities and to be able to let them have the right to self-determination and as opposed to being part of some kind of greater good thing, because oftentimes that can lead to catastrophe, and it has done in the past. This whole idea of we need to do this for the greater good, we have to be careful with that because it can especially when a government gets involved. So we have to basically kind of have a balance of individualism, but also we also have to listen to what is the will of the people, because when it comes to certain rules and things like that, we all have to just kind of respect that. If that's what people want, then we have to respect that. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, genuine talent should be rewarded. And I don't know if we can ever do anything about this whole thing of, people being rewarded for being a Nepo baby or something when they've done nothing to deserve it, that they've not had to go through any process. Because the problem is when people get rewarded, it's not only is it bad for everybody else, but it's also the fact that when you've not had to work for what you do, you've not had to struggle, you end up becoming less grateful of it, or you just don't appreciate it the same. You don't appreciate the struggle that it would take to get there. Yeah, that's the thing of the capitalist kind of stealing the people's from people's labor. So that it's if anything, it's they're the ones that are entitled. They're the ones that are entitled to do all that. And the thing is, you've also got things like big companies harvesting people's data, oftentimes personal data, and they're not even giving you a percentage of it back. Because you probably could be given hundreds of pounds every month by doing that. Your data is worth a lot of money, and they are taking it from you for free. Now, of course, yeah, they have to pay to for the infrastructure, they have to pay people's wages, blah blah blah, but it's nowhere near the amount that it costs. Nowhere near the amount that these uh of that. So basically, yeah. So everyone, I think, should probably get paid some kind of some compensation for that, I would say. Like if it's say 50% or whatever, I'd argue more. But let's say if Mark Zuckerberg had to give 50% of all of the